Alright, so we are back on our scene, and what I want to do is UV the donut. So what I want to do is UV this bread. So I would like to stay on my camera angle because sometimes when you create UV for a certain object, you get a seam. So when you cut open a UV like this, you will get this border right here, and that is what we call like the seam. It's very helpful that when you have like a camera in a scene is to place it somewhere unnoticeable for the camera to focus on. So that's what we're gonna do. So I think we're gonna get the seam somewhere around in this area right here. So let's do it. What I want to do is select that one and just isolate it, so that's the only thing that we're gonna be seeing. So what we want to do is add the seam somewhere around in this area right here, so it's quite hidden from the camera. So what I want to do is create an automatic map for this particular object. So how do we do that? Select your object, shift, right mouse click, mapping, and we can just choose automatic map. We can open our UV texture editor, go to Windows, Modeling, UV editor. So we can see that we have our UV right here. So after doing it, we just have to go to object mode, so that's selected, and go to modify, unitize. And what is unitize? So unitize, what it does is, if you go to perspective, so all these squares right here, you basically kind of like force it to overlap each other in this 0 to 1 grid right here. Now that we have our UV unitize, what we're gonna do is select the edges, all of it, from your viewport, select that, and I want to go back to my main camera again. So this will be our scene. So what I want to do is press Ctrl and then just double click maybe this area. So we're saying that is going to be our scene. Everything is going to be selected. Right? Everything is going to be selected except for that seam. Once everything is selected and that part is deselected, what we want to do is go to our UV editor right here and shift right mouse click, move and sew edges. So if you notice, now our UV is way big. It's like super big. What I want to do is actually we can go from here, modify layout, or in this side of the screen, inside arrange and layout, we can just press layout. So that way, all our UVs are in this UV layout right here, in this one quadrant. So now we go to perspective. So we can see that there's just a little bit of distortions right there. If you press 3, there's some distortions right there. So that is what we wanted to fix. So how to fix it? We select our UV and then shift right mouse click, unfold along V. What I want to do as well, because this is it's a very strange shape and it will be a bit confusing to do it. So whenever I have these things going, what I always want to do is do it manually a little bit. So we select this area right here and we can straighten them. So we go and select the UVs. So we're on our UV mode right here. Select the UVs. Okay, and then unselect the ones that we don't need. So everything's selected. And then shift right mouse click, straighten. Straighten UVs. That way all this middle stuff here is straightened. What I also want to do is to kind of like select the UVs on top here and manually unfold them. So unfold, unfold. Also the bottom part here. Unfold. Oops. Unfold. Unfold. So that, did you see the difference? See? I press undo. So try to see here. Right click, unfold. So now we can try and we can try this UV. So now that we did that UV, what I want to do is apply a shader first. So right click, assign new material, Arnold, because we're using Arnold to render, and I wanted to use AI standard surface and name it like the bread underscore mat. So I went over to Google a while ago and searched for a donut texture, which I found and put it on my source images. So what I want to do is browse that source images folder, is browse that file. So it's in my source images already. So browse, and then here, since we already set up our project, we automatically go to our source images folder, and here is the donut seamless PNG. Open, and then press 6. So yeah. So aside from that, what we can also do is, so if I deselect this checker map, you won't be able to see the checker map anymore. So what I also want to do is I can actually like adjust it. So if we go to that, there you go. So once we have this color right here, we can also add a bump texture to it, and that bump texture goes to geometry, and we go to bump mapping, and we select this checker map right here. So we just have to go to file and browse where it is. So I'm going here in bump value, this button right here, and then browse the file, and that will be our bump. So I made this bump using Photoshop. Also, when we're using a bump texture, it's black and white, we want to make sure that we are using raw for that. Okay, so we get like the proper color for our texture. And if we want to lower the amount of the bump, we just have to go back again to the geometry tab, bump mapping, just press that, and then just press this button right here, and it will show you the bump depth. So maybe 0.1, or maybe we can keep it 0.2. Yeah, 0.2 should be okay. We can see a bit of bump in it, right? So if we go and render this, we just have to press save. Go to render. So this is our before. Let's save that picture right there, and then just render this. So for this render, we can always adjust the lighting and stuff, but you can tell that the bump is working. The texture is working, the bump is working. All right, so we can cancel it for now. And then I think let's kind of like adjust our angle. What if our angle is something like this? So we can see more of the dough, and then render it. Yes. So we can lower our resolution for now. Let's make it 2, 2, 2. So we're not struggling rendering. Preview. And what I always want to do is to adjust the lighting as well. So I would have, it helps a lot. You can see it changing. Let's press 3 because we're getting these holes right here. So I pressed 3, and now it's a bit better. To complete this donut tutorial, let's add a shader to our icing right here and make sure that it has that nice specularity to it and shine. I want to create another shader. Select the object, right mouse click, assign a new material. Again, we go to Arnold, AI standard surface, select that, and see what it looks like. See, now we're getting that glow right there, but I want the color to be a bit pink. Nice kind of pink. I like that kind of pink. We are using the default settings for the specular and for the coat, and I think it's looking really sweet and cute. But what if I don't want a lot of specular? So what I want to do is go to specular, and you can just adjust the roughness to however you want. But I think since this is an icing, the specular should be a little bit strong. Not so strong that it's like very, very glossy like glass, but kind of like, I guess 1.5. 15. 0.15 is fine, right? And then you can also decrease it, the specularity, if you like. You can go without, but it's not an icing anymore. So what I want to do is maybe like that. And then you can also adjust the coat here. So for the coat, the default for roughness is 0.1. We save this image right here for test. And then what if I want the coat to be, let's say 1, the maximum, and then render it. Adding the coat, we get more reflection to it, especially right here. So if you stop it, see the difference? It's stronger. The reflectivity is stronger. We don't want the icing to be that reflective, we just need a little. So we can go for the balance. I guess just a little bit of coat, 0.2 would be fine. And then we can adjust the roughness as well. We can make it 0.2. With this one now, we can still play with the lights. It's basically like a trial and error kind of thing where you adjust something and maybe it works for this kind of light. It depends on how you want and how you work on lights and shading. But for me, I'm very comfortable with kind of testing the light reacting with the shader. So what I always want to do is, you know, just play with the lights like this and see which one gives the most appeal, right? Which looks more appealing to the eyes. I kind of like the shadow that goes at the back. So let's say this angle for now. It's getting there. So let's add the shader for the sprinkles. Select the sprinkles and then right mouse click, assign new material, and then go to Arnold and select again our favorite standard surface. So I want this to be gold sprinkles. It's very cute. I like those in cupcakes. So how do you make gold? Usually what we have here in Arnold, we have presets right here. So presets can be found right there, the ones with the asterisk right there. So you just select it with your left mouse button, and then it will give you these options. You can do balloons, brush metal, bubble, but what we're looking for is gold. So gold is right here. So what I want to do is blend, because you have the option here to just use 10% of that gold, or let's say 90% of that gold and mix it with 10% honey. That's doable. Like you can mix and match different presets, right? So what I'm going to do is go for a complete 100%. So I just have to select replace. Now it turned black, so that means our shader has been applied, and we can now render. See how cute that is? Now for contrast, let's apply a different shader for the base and a different shader for the background. So I think I want my base to be, assign new material, Arnold, maybe kind of teal. I like the idea of teal. It's very, very nice. Would it work? Let's see. already know the colors that we want, what we want to do is change the, what do you call it? What we want to do is change the sampling for it. So we can go back to 4, 4, 4. We're not using SSS. We can just make a 0. We're not using volume either. So for ray depth, maybe I'll go for increase it to 2. So these are just so to enhance and to make it less grainy and more sharper, and it just makes the entire render cleaner and crisp. So 2K, let's go. So we'll just wait for it a little bit. So yeah, this is our donut with the UV, with the shading and the textures. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe.